What's up, you guys? Welcome to the TechCity podcast. Belarus Okoje Duruji here. And of course, I'm not alone.
It's a good idea.
So it's been a very interesting month so far. November has been very eventful.
Very interesting.
So many things have happened. And we're not even halfway into the month yet, depending on when this podcast is published, by the way. But I guess a very good place to start would be issues that have maybe, I guess, followed us from the month of October and prior. Yeah. When you look at what's been happening in the tech ecosystem in the world, primarily, and maybe specifically Twitter and Facebook, and how many people they have laid off in a matter of days.
Yeah, I think Twitter and Facebook are like the ones that are bringing the major news because there are also some tech companies that actually laid up.
True.
Like Shopify, Amazon, you understand? So, but these major companies, Twitter and Facebook, Meta, were like quite shocking. You understand?
Maybe because of the number of people.
Yes.
Primarily that.
And the reason behind, not really the reason behind it, but more of like how it was given.
Yeah.
Without notice and all that.
Yeah, we'll get into the details of that in a second, but don't forget to please like this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts and also subscribe to our channel for other really cool tech content. So we'll kick off with Twitter first off. Twitter has been dramatic for months because of Elon Musk, of course. He recently bought over the company and he's acting like a child who just got his favorite toy for Christmas. And he's pressing different buttons and trying to see which one works, which one doesn't. And everyone is like, dude.
I really do not understand because Twitter has been a company that has been quiet since it was launched.
Relatively so.
You understand? For a company that has this kind of like interaction platform and also as a social platform, ever since Elon Musk came ever since he even hinted that he was going to buy Twitter, the news has been everywhere.
It has.
It's been something else with Twitter.
Now he eventually bought the company for $44 billion. Yes. Many people have, of course, had their reservations about how much Twitter is actually worth. Some said he was ripped off. Many people were of the opinion that Twitter wasn't worth that much. Some said it was. Some said it was worth a lot more. And some people have said, Elon Musk being a loudmouth like he can be sometimes, when he indicated interest, right, he couldn't sort of swallow his words. He couldn't take it back. So it meant that he needed to actually buy the company for the price that he was given. Yeah. But then he gets into Twitter and says that things are perhaps not the way he thought they were, which is one of the things that I believe informed him choosing to lay people off. He had admitted one time that the company was losing $4 million daily. For a $44 billion company, please, and my math is not great. If you buy something for $4 billion and you're losing $4 million daily, how soon will that $44 billion just be completely done?
I honestly do not know.
Let's calculate it. 44 million. I don't know that this is not necessary. Let's not rub it in. But then he's now chosen to sack people. Yeah. And I think the first thing is how he went about sacking them, right? First, it was like threats. And then everyone was thinking he shouldn't be making these kinds of threats. In fact, in the build up to him buying Twitter, after he had voiced out his intention to sack people, there were some people who went and wrote a letter and said, please don't be threatening us. They're going to sack us. Don't threaten us with a sack. If you want to come to the company and, do some kind of restructuring, that's fine. But then don't make it look like you're threatening us with a sack. But then...
The thing is that Elon Musk has always been like open with his decisions, giving coded messages.
So shouldn't be surprised
in his tweets. That's the thing because... Like, look at somebody that wanted to buy Twitter. He, on the 28th of October, he tweeted that now the bed is sweet.
Yeah.
That's something. Now, he informed bloggers that in the next coming months, the company is going to do a lot of dumb things, like make a lot of dumb decisions. You understand? So, this guy is just something else because he has just been making rational, decisions. Irrational decisions, rather. Sorry. And...
his fans will not agree.
What I actually think is that I can see a pattern.
Okay.
You understand? Because he did the same thing. He laid off 50% of Twitter staff.
Yeah.
Then called them back.
Called some of them back.
Some of them back to say, okay, you're going to come back, but you're going to abide by my rules. You understand? Which is you are going to remove the remote work option. He did that with Tesla, like a while ago. He did that with Tesla, where he sacked a lot of people. Then he called some of them back and told them that you have to be working 40 hours a week.
But just to digress just a bit, isn't that something that some Nigerian CEOs also do? Where I don't know if it's a fit of anger or just on impulse. They just sack people and they're like, that person, we need this person. They'll now call them back and they now increase the workload.
I feel like it's people have their reasons for doing some things that they do. I won't speak in mind of like Elon Musk, but I feel like some of it is to put to me personally, I feel it's to put some kind of like control for some people.
Okay.
Say that, okay, I'm taking you off, but I'm calling you back, but you have to abide by these decisions, because some of these things I think he could have done it without sacking them.
True.
Yeah, he told them to go back. He told them to go. He told them to come back. But now, as you're coming back, I have rules for you. Jack Dorsey also said during the pandemic, he said that the Twitter staffs were allowed to work from home like forever,
right,
if they wish. And it was, I think everybody was quite comfortable with that because everything was going smoothly. We understood the whole pandemic thing, all that. But now this guy is calling to tell you that, I'm back, I'm here now, and I'm taking over. Go home. I really do not like working from home.
But he already did that at Tesla, like you mentioned. Like he had said, look, people have to show up to work. And I think that I'm not an Elon Musk fan, but sometimes you hear some of the things that he says or decisions that he makes and you're like, oh, I see reason with that, right? For some people, some companies, some businesses cannot function optimally if certain staff don't resume physically. So I don't know if that's sort of like the approach he was trying to address it from, where it's like, so for some of you, if you don't show up, you can't succeed. So just go home. And in the leaked TMZ audio, he was heard saying, if they don't show up when they are supposed to show up at work, resignation accepted. Yeah. That guy is a Nigerian, low key.
It's truly African.
He's South African, FYI. He's from South Africa originally, but of course he grew up outside these shores. But I think, that gene is still there. But of course, there are now questions about how these layoffs has affected Africa, right? Only in 2021, right, Jack Dorsey announced that an African headquarters was coming, right? After he visited Nigeria and other African countries in 2019 or so. And, there was excitement, even though some Nigerians were angry, like, why will you take it to Ghana? Why not bring it to Nigeria?
Why would you take it to Ghana in the first place? Did you see what the government did to many tech companies on a period? No.
And are still doing.
They're still doing that.
Actually, but that's not the thrust of this conversation, right? There was excitement in the air that finally Twitter would have an African headquarters. Went to Ghana. I was like, okay, that's fine. We'll manage that. And then Elon Musk comes, and sort of one of the very first things he does is to sack everybody in the Ghana office. In fact, it was so bad that on the 1st of November, one of the guys who was going to lead the team at Twitter Ghana tweeted and said, oh,
I'm here.
We are resuming.
I've landed.
Working for my dream company on the 1st of November. On the 4th of November, this same guy comes on Twitter. It's weird, don't you think?
It's
like
really,
on
really
the same
sad.
Twitter.
It's really, really sad.
Oh my goodness.
It's really sad that you get the opportunity to work with a company that you've admired
always
or
wanted
like
to work at.
You've always wanted to work at, and just not up
3
to a week,
days.
you just receive a sack letter. Like, what's going on? And I think it's not just the African countries, because there's some people that actually came on LinkedIn and actually, posted that one woman, she relocated from India to Canada.
Right.
After going through the stressful visa process, she got laid off 2 weeks after resuming.
That would really hurt, because we'll get to Facebook in a bit, or Meta, because when they were announcing when Mark Zuckerberg was announcing to the staff about the layoffs in Meta, he addressed that immigration situation, and people were just like, yo, what happened to people who needed to get like a work visa to travel? So what happens to them now? They go back to their home countries without a job and all of that. But I don't know how much cover non-US staff of Twitter have. Yeah. Right. So like, what is the immigration provision for them?
Okay, so we're talking about Meta.
Well,
we're talking about it.
Let's finish Twitter first, and then we'll go to Meta.
To be honest, I don't think Twitter actually considered anything related to that. Look at Elon Musk, for instance. Do you think he's the kind of person that actually cares about?
But he has a team. He's not like he's not HR. So I believe that HR should probably have butted in and been like, oh, so please, excuse me, sir. What about our staff who are not based or who are not US citizens but work physically?
If HR was able to butt in, I think they should have done the same thing before when he sacked people without telling them. Now look at them facing class action suit.
Yeah, there's a class action suit.
So I don't think he actually really considered people like that.
So help me out. So Tega is a lawyer, FYI. If you did not know, now you do. No, but of course you mentioned the class action suit that was done by a number of Twitter staff, right, against Elon Musk for sacking them without prior notice. I mean, depending on the labor laws in whatever country you are headquartered, right? What is the essence of a class action suit, and do you think it will be successful?
For the class action suit, let me just explain what the class action suit is. Class action suit means a group of people coming together to sue a person, but for that to happen, there has to be a lead plaintiff. Okay. You understand? Let's say a representative of a group of people coming together to sue. You understand? There's no exact number, by the way, to actually file a class action suit. Okay.
Is there a minimum?
Like I said, there's no specific number. Okay. Group of people means more than one person. Yeah. So for this to actually happen, I think they have some good motives or reason to actually sue, because first off, it goes against their labor laws, which requires that you have to give prior notice before you actually take such process sacking somebody. He just sent an email to them. Come on, that doesn't make sense in any way.
Zuckerberg even did video and then the human video. Touch.
So I honestly won't actually say that I have an idea if it's going to actually work out, because if you look at Elon Musk's reason, it's saying that he's trying to cut costs. Yeah. You understand? Even if they say they win the whole thing and they want to pay them severance package and all that, where is the money going to come from?
Because he's trying to save costs.
Because he has his own, and I actually think it has to also deal with maybe some clauses in their contract. You understand? Because I feel Elon Musk can take irrational decisions, but I think he's still a smart person. You understand? So his legal team will actually have probably looked at some clauses before making such decisions. So let's just see how it goes.
I'm curious about some of the other concerns that people have, right, with regards to he has sacked people, offices are being shut down, he's trying to create a subscription thing for Twitter. How will he get his money? So if you are sacking people to save money and you're coming up with a subscription plan that not everybody buys into, will you actually make the money you're trying to save?
Twitter has not. I think Twitter has been getting their revenue through ads most of the time, and now I think they are major competitors now. You understand? Let's say during the pandemic, apps like TikTok, Clubhouse got new recognition, and they came to take over. I think
Twitter Spaces, in my opinion, I think it's doing better than Clubhouse.
Yeah, it's actually doing better than Clubhouse is still existing, but I think the Twitter reputation and popularity tried to overrun the whole Clubhouse.
And it's in-app. Twitter Spaces is in-app. You don't need to download on the application first.
That's just it.
Anyway, you were saying.
So where was I?
Competition.
Okay.
TikTok, Twitter.
So
all of them.
TikTok, new competitors came during the pandemic. So trying to get that cost, because when the Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion, they actually lost a lot of money. Trying to pay the CEO as he left. You get, and
other people that he even
you get. So
goodness me.
So that alone, they've already lost a lot of money. And now this layoff is saying that, okay, it's quite open that we are actually getting broke, like bankrupt. You understand?
Do you think that these layoffs and this closing of offices will affect Twitter's presence in some of the countries that it exists? So like, especially where it has like offices, do you think it will affect usage of Twitter?
No, I don't. I actually do not.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because that is the only place where people come and roast rants and feel comfortable or feel intelligent. So I don't think it's actually going to really affect. Probably people might just come and even the people that were being laid off came to tweet.
Yeah, they talked about it on Twitter, and I think that because of course Twitter has existed, across the world without needing a physical office in some of these countries.
Yes.
So it's like, well, we get it. It will hurt you guys that they have shut down their offices and they have sacked people. But then the company existed before then anyway.
Yes.
So
people that were laid off coming to tweet, they actually still came with even though it was quite painful inside, they still came up with positive hashtags, other things to encourage themselves and other people on the same Twitter platform. So I don't actually think it's going to, personally, I don't think it's going to affect.
So Elon Musk fired people, called some of them back, acted almost like a Niger guy, promised some of them severance packages. There wasn't that much emphasis on international staff, right? But there was some emphasis for the US staff that they would get severance packages. Now there are reports that he has reneged on his decision to give them a severance package and, he probably will not give them any more. Again, we're sort of used to Elon Musk being that guy who says one thing and does the other. But we'll keep our fingers crossed on that. But when you look at how Elon Musk acted and how now Mark Zuckerberg acted when he laid off almost times 3 or more people than Elon.
13% of his
over 11,000 people were fired from Facebook. Looking at how Mark Zuckerberg handled announcing the layoffs, there was a video that went out. There was a letter that he wrote. Maybe it was written personally by him. Would you say there are major because there will be input from everywhere. Would you say there are major differences about how both CEOs acted in that regard?
I think we're going to look at it from different, like how their personalities.
Yeah.
Because Elon Musk, his own, should I say, his way, the way he communicates.
He doesn't care about like the proper way of doing. Yeah.
And sometimes people see him as somebody that is just irresponsible. That, like what I just said, see him. And some people, not you. Exactly. Not me.
So we are clear.
From some of the tweets I've seen, you understand, freedom of speech, by the way. So, his personality actually portrayed something else. So, and Mark Zuckerberg, if you look at his own personality, people just know that Mark Zuckerberg is the kind of person that doesn't have like emotions and just give it to you. But he tried to add a human touch.
Yeah.
You understand? He made provisions for people that were laid off. You understand? Clear, proper provisions for even immigrants. He even told them that there's special benefits for you right now with your visas. You understand? You have so a period of time to sort yourself out. You understand? We have immigration lawyers ready to assist you. You understand? So I think he actually made good provisions for the people that he was laying up at that moment compared to anyone.
But again, don't you think that's also as a result of the fact that Mark Zuckerberg has been in the eye of the storm much longer when it comes to like social projects like Facebook or even Twitter, right? Elon Musk is a Tesla guy. I don't know that he has as much experience when dealing with these kinds of issues like Mark Zuckerberg does? Because Mark Zuckerberg has been through a lot of, government this, government that, somebody said this, and that whole social space. Don't you think that's also contributed to why he figured, I have to be careful to address every detail and every kind of stuff that we're laying off?
To be honest, my personal opinion, notice I've been saying my personal opinion. To be honest, I think being a CEO is about managing people. Also involves managing people. It doesn't matter about the social, what kind of company you're running.
That's
you understand?
true.
So Elon Musk managing Twitter, being the CEO of Twitter, Mark Zuckerberg being the CEO of Facebook or Meta doesn't actually matter, because the way you actually still manage people is what matters. Because let's say the company itself, the type of company itself doesn't actually matter. You understand? If you can actually talk to people the right way, manage people the right way, I think it's shows something to people that you have this human touch. You actually know how to take care of your people, because you're trying to say Elon Musk probably made such decisions because he's not used to things like that.
The way he made the announcement, it's like, just send a message. I don't have time for this.
Like we said before, he has done it before.
At Tesla, true.
You understand?
True.
He has done it before, and who knows whether he has done with other companies that you own, but the Boring company, for someone that owned the company called the Boring company.
But I think that Mark Zuckerberg, much as he's dealing with a lot more people and all of that, I think that he definitely sat down and tried to figure out a number of things. Also, like you mentioned, there's going to be, he mentioned in the letter he wrote to his staff that there will be people on hand to answer questions. I don't know how much answers they want to give to people that have been fired, to be honest. But, I think just to fulfill all righteousness, I believe that he has listed some things. And while he talked about what the US staff would get, the sacked Facebook US staff would get, he also sort of mentioned, he didn't give details, but there was a list of things I said they would get. And then, he wrote that for non-US staff that have been fired, they will get similar support, right? So I think that's great. He also talks about how, and this is for me very important, they said they are going to shrink their real estate footprints. So that means that a lot of offices are going to be closed down. That hurts.
That hurts a lot. And I would like to also mention that the PR also matters. You understand? Mark Zuckerberg, from this, I've been able to say that, okay, Mark Zuckerberg has people that he actually listens to. You understand? Probably advise and tell, okay, this is how to approach
You're
this
just
thing.
saying that you're not sure. You don't know for sure.
I'm saying probably.
Probably, right.
Because he released the video and he gave, good provisions. You understand? His own method was actually better.
A bit more humane.
Yeah. You understand? Unlike the other guy.
The guy next door.
The guy next door. So I really can't say who is actually better, because the two of them just, it's actually quite shocking, but there's literally nothing they could have done to,
because again, even Mark Zuckerberg talked about how they are also, and I think that this just goes to show that tech companies, regardless of how big they are and how sometimes they appear to be really successful, they are dealing with some of the issues that even smaller businesses are facing. Competition is rife. It's crazy.
Pressure from investors too, because one of the things they actually said was that the investors were actually quite concerned about how much the expenses that Facebook was actually, spending. Their operational cost was just getting too much.
So doesn't that make you think? I know, because when that comes up, it makes me think to myself, so is it necessary that they actually hire staff in some part of the world and then open offices? Because you think about some startups, when they get money from investors, the first thing is office in VI. They'll go and hire staff. It's like, why do we do these things if we can run or operate without these things? And that's what I think has also put some of these companies in trouble. How much do you really need some staff in some parts of the world? I'm not trying to hit on anybody who's got a job with any of these companies, but you think about it and how this is the resultant effect. Now they're trying to cut costs, and then the lowest hanging fruits are what are getting cut.
First off, opening offices for tech firms, having an office shows credibility, would I say credibility? Well, kind of shows that, okay, we are actually here to actually stay, especially fintechs.
Yeah.
You understand? We have a headquarters, we have an office that you can actually come and visit. We're doing well.
Inclusion,
You understand? So, but the way you actually spend the money, your own salary per se, the salary of your staff and other things. I'm not saying that you should pay them less, but there's some things that you actually have to look at, because many of these tech companies, when they get seed fundings or Series A fundings that's when they'll start. You see that salary increased from like 500,000 to 2.3 million.
Crazy.
Things like that. Okay, so they actually need to have a proper breakdown of how expenditure should work. And how to work with their revenue. But if you look at a platform like Twitter, I don't think Twitter is actually getting much revenue, to be honest, the way it's meant to. So Elon Musk is trying to like fully monetize Twitter.
He had said some time ago, before he even completely bought Twitter, when he was just still throwing those jabs, he said he was going to make governments and sort of like HNIs pay for Twitter. So the way he's going about now, I'm beginning to see and understand that, like you said, he may be a very ridiculous guy, but he's equally very smart. So I think for me, it comes down to, if a government feels like, oh, well, people need to know that this is truly the government of Nigeria, they will pay for that subscription, for that tick to remain there.
The thing is that everybody keeps complaining that, oh, let's try to be reasonable with this guy. Elon, please be reasonable. Why would you be charging for blue ticks? And his tweet would be like, pay $8 for everybody that complains.
Such a weirdo.
You understand? But the thing is that if people complain, we still pay.
Absolutely. I think so.
They will still pay.
I think
for you to maintain that social status that you've already, gotten, or you're actually riding with, you need to actually, maintain it. Like, as you've gotten it, your senses will tell you that, or your reputation will tell you to keep on with it, continue with that blue tick. So whether they like it or not, they'll just feel like it's just $8. They'll pay.
Exchange rate now is not even smiling. But I think that, I was on the BBC some time ago, and they were asked that question of, now that Elon Musk is trying to make money by doing this whole subscription thing for people to get the blue ticks, if people's blue ticks are taken away, won't that increase like fake news and information and all of that? Now, I don't know that I had enough time to answer the question, but one thing that came to mind for me was, even to be honest, even right now, people with blue ticks, they still spread false information. They still spread false information. So when you look at how like traditional, companies have maintained integrity, right? So say TV stations, for instance, there's some TV stations that you can't miss their news. Maybe it's like 10 p.m. or 7 p.m. They have built their reputation. So I think it's also going to be a thing of building reputation on Twitter to the point where it's like our reputation is very important to us. And for people to see us as a verified source of information, we are willing to pay money for it, pay the $8. And if maybe they have like staff who are news readers or whatever, because for some of these people, it's just a status thing, right? But if you want to still be seen as a verifiable source, someone that is trusted and all of that, is going to be a thing of, I value my integrity, I value the respect that people have for me, enough to be able to pay for this so that they can keep seeing me in that light. So I think in that sense, I think it can make money. That's what I really think. And, we can fight fake news that way. And it's like, if anybody doesn't have a blue tick and they say they are a news source, don't believe them. Gosh. Such a blanket.
A celebrity and you don't have that blue tick.
You're not really a celebrity.
Are you really a celebrity?
Goodness me. That's all we have time for today on the TechCity podcast. I think we can confidently say that while Twitter and Facebook are the sort of main social applications of the day, when it comes to microblogging, of course. Again, there's TikTok and there's Instagram. Anyway, the approaches are not the same, just as the uses of these platforms are not the same. The CEOs or the owners, of course, are not dealing with things the exact same way. But of course, our heart goes out to everyone who lost their jobs in this season of massive layoffs. Some companies, I think primarily Facebook, has promised that they will get some career professionals to come and talk to their fired staff on other career opportunities, and so fingers crossed that they get something.
Speaking of opportunities, Joshua Hans, the CEO of Bubble, Bubble is a no-code platform. They help they help users without technical experience build social platforms or websites and normal
without
native applications without you understand. So he actually puts it out there that he's actually hiring.
Lovely.
You understand? He's hiring software developers and some other roles. So you could actually go there and sign up. You can check his LinkedIn, Joshua Hans, and
see.
Some CEOs are actually taking opportunity to hire,
and they may not pay as much as the Facebooks and Twitters, but I guess within the ballpark.
Yeah.
So that's all we have time for. Thank you for watching and listening. If you have any comments or reservations about how both Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg handled the layoffs, let us know in the comments. And just about anywhere you can reach us on Twitter at TechCityNG and of course Instagram at TechCityHQ. I'm Bella Rose Okoje Durji.
Take it out here.
Bye.